Once upon a time, in a small village called Ajilit, there was a girl named Amina. But this was not an ordinary girl. No, no, no. Amina was like a roaring lion in a school full of sheep. Everybody feared her. Teachers, students, even the principal. She was big. She was strong. And she had the face of someone who never smiled. If you saw her coming, you moved out of the way. If she sat beside you, you dared not breathe too loud. Nobody wanted to be on her bad side because Amina did not forgive, and she did not forget. Amina was different from the other students. She was older, much older. While other students were 16, 17, Amina was already 21. She had repeated classes 5 times, but she didn't care. People called her Mommy of the school because she was like an adult among children. But she didn't act like an adult. Oh no, Amina was wild. She came to school when she liked. She slept in class like she was in her bedroom. She never did homework. And if any teacher asked her a question, she would yawn in their face like they were wasting her time. Nobody could control her. Not the teachers, not the principal, not even the village elders. She was like a storm that no one could stop. And the worst part, she loved trouble. If there was peace, Amina would break it. If there was quiet, she would bring noise. If you looked at her the wrong way, boom, she would fight you. One day, a teacher told her, "Amina, sit properly." Amina turned to him, her eyes cold. "Do you want me to sit on your head?" The class gasped. The teacher sighed and walked away. It was better to ignore her than to fight a battle he would surely lose. Even the principal had given up. "Just let her be," Mr. George said. "She will leave one day." But Amina had no plans of leaving. And in Ajali Community School, everyone knew one thing. Wherever Amina was, trouble followed. And the worst part? Her story had not even begun. A long time ago, before Amina became the terror of the school, she was just another junior student. She was stubborn, yes, but back then, she was not yet feared. Then one day, everything changed. That morning, Amina came late to school. The sun was already high in the sky, and the other students were in class already. She strolled in slowly, chewing gum, swinging her arms like she had all the time in the world. A senior student, Kunla, stood by the school gate. He saw her. His eyes narrowed. "Amina, why are you just coming?" Amina blew a bubble with her gum and popped it. She did not answer. Kunle frowned. He was one of the toughest seniors in school. He had punished many students before, and nobody ever talked back to him. "Go and kneel down," he commanded. Amina did not move. Kunle's face darkened. "Are you deaf?" He grabbed his cane and raised it. Before Amina could react, swoosh! The cane landed on her back. The school went silent. Kunle flogged her again. Swoosh! "You think you are special," he barked. Some students shifted uncomfortably. They knew Amina from the village. They knew her story. They knew her ways. And they knew Kunle had just made the worst mistake of his life. "Senior Kunle, please leave her," one boy whispered. "She is not someone you should punish," another girl warned. Kunle laughed. "I will teach her a lesson," he boasted. "Let her do her worst." He did not stop. He made her cut grass under the hot sun. She worked for hours, her hands blistering, her face covered in sweat. But Amina did not cry. She did not beg. She did not even look at Kunle for too long. Amina only glanced at him, her voice quiet like the wind before a storm. "Be prepared," she said, "and don't run home after closing." Kunle only laughed again. He thought she was joking, but Amina never joked. When school closed, Students hurried home, but Amina did not leave. She waited outside the gate, standing under a mango tree, her arms crossed. Kunle strolled out, whistling and laughing with his friends. That girl thought she was stubborn. I showed her pepper. But as he stepped out of the school gate, someone was waiting. Amina. Before Kunle could blink, she grabbed him by the collar and dragged him behind the school fence. Ah, what is happening? A junior student whispered. Shh, it's Amina, another said, peeping through the window. And then it began. Smack! Amina slapped him. She punched him in the stomach. Kunle fell to the ground, coughing, but Amina was not done. She climbed on top of him and beat him like a drum. She punched, she kicked, she scratched. Kunle tried to crawl away, but Amina grabbed a handful of sand and shoved it into his mouth. Swallow it, she hissed. Kunle gagged, his eyes wide with fear. He had been the king of the school, but now, in that moment, he was nothing. When she was satisfied, Amina stood up, dusted her hands, and walked away like nothing had happened. The next day, Kunle came to school with bruises on his face. He did not speak. He did not complain. And from that day, nobody, not students, not seniors, not even teachers, dared to cross Amina. Her reign of terror had begun. Months passed and the school settled again, leaving Amina all alone, never bothered, until one hot afternoon when it happened again, this time with a well-respected teacher. The sun was high, the air was hot, and the students sat quietly in class, waiting. The history teacher, Mr. Salami, was coming. Everybody liked Mr. Salami. He was patient, kind, and never shouted. But that day, something happened that had never happened before. At the back of the class, Amina was eating. Not small food, no. A big plate of rice and chicken with stew dripping down the side. She ate like she was at home, licking her fingers, chewing loudly, and picking her teeth. The smell of the food filled the whole class. The students dared not talk. Nobody wanted to enter trouble. But they stole glances at each other, wondering what would happen next. Then, Mr. Salami walked in. He stopped at the door. He saw Amina. He saw the food. His face changed. Amina, he called, his voice calm. Can you keep your food for later? Amina did not answer. She picked a piece of chicken, crunched the bone, and kept chewing. The class held their breath. Mr. Salami took a deep breath. He was still calm. Amina, I said, stop eating. Amina licked her fingers. She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand and looked up at him like he was disturbing her. Then she did something that made everybody freeze. She picked up a chicken bone and threw it. Pa! The bone hit Mr. Salami's chest. Oil from the food splattered on his white shirt. The class gasped. Nobody had ever done this before. Mr. Salami lost his patience. His face changed. His hand clenched. Amina, come outside now, he ordered. His voice was no longer calm. Amina stood up slowly. She picked up her plate of rice. Everybody thought she was going to drop it, maybe put it aside. But no, she walked straight to the front of the class, stood before Mr. Salami, and poured the whole food on his head. Boo! The whole class screamed. Rice covered his face. Chicken bones fell to the ground. Red stew dripped down his neck like palm oil on a goat's back. Mr. Salami did not move. The students did not breathe. Silence filled the room. Then everything exploded. The class screamed. Mr. Salami lost control. Slap! His hand met Amina's cheek. The sound echoed in the room. But Amina did not cry. She only touched her face and looked at him with cold eyes. Then she spoke. Don't try this again ever in your life. Mr. Salami was even angrier. And what will you do? Slap me back? He raised his hand to hit her again. And that was the mistake. Before his palm could land, Amina caught his wrist in midair. Then, bam! She punched him. Wham! She grabbed a chair and swung it at him. Crash! It hit his shoulder. He staggered backward. His feet wobbled. Then he fell. Amina jumped on him. She punched. She kicked. She fought like a wild animal. Students ran to the corners of the classroom. Some ran outside. Nobody dared to stop her. By the time other teachers rushed in, Mr. Salami was bleeding. His white shirt was now red. Amina sat on his back, still beating him. The teachers pulled her off. They carried Mr. Salami and rushed him to the hospital. That day, something changed. The teachers whispered. The students trembled. Amina had beaten a teacher, and nothing in Agilet Community School would ever be the same again. The school was quiet. Too quiet. For 2 whole days, nobody saw Mr. Salami. His seat in the staff room was empty. His house was locked. His bicycle, the one he always rode to school, was gone. The students whispered. The teachers murmured. Even the principal, Mr. George, was confused. Where is Mr. Salami? A teacher asked. No one had an answer. Some said he was still in the hospital, lying on a bed, too weak to move. Some said he packed his bags and left the village in shame. Some even believed he went to the city to start a new life, far away from the girl who had humiliated him. But one thing was clear. Amina had broken him. He was the teacher that never shouted, the teacher that never raised his voice, the teacher that was patient with everybody. But Amina had ended him. The students in the class where it happened still talked about that day. I saw blood on his shirt, one boy whispered. I saw his eyes roll back, another girl said. He fell like a tree, someone added, shivering at the memory. The fear spread. The teachers gathered in the staff room, their voices low. This girl is dangerous, one of them muttered. If she can beat a teacher, then who is next? Another asked. We must do something before she kills someone, an older teacher whispered. Even the principal rubbed his head in frustration. He had seen many stubborn students before, but never someone like Amina. And so the school waited to see if Mr. Salami would ever return, waited to see what Amina would do next. But Mr. Salami never came back. The classroom where it happened felt haunted. His chair remained empty. His books gathered dust. The teachers never spoke his name again. And Amina? She walked around the school like nothing happened. The teachers had had enough. First, she beat a senior student. Then, she beat a teacher so badly, he disappeared. Who was next? The principal. The staff room was filled with angry voices. We can't continue like this, one teacher shouted. She is not a student. She is a wild animal. Another added, we must expel her before she does something worse. Even Mr. George, the principal, sighed and rubbed his forehead. There was no other option. That morning, during assembly, he stood in front of the students. His voice was firm. His face was serious. Amina, come forward. The students turned, eyes wide. Amina, called out in assembly. Amina strolled forward slowly. Her hands were in her pockets. Her chewing gum popped loudly. She looked at the principal with zero respect. Mr. George held up a piece of paper. His voice rang through the air. Amina, you are no longer a student of this school. You have been expelled. The school erupted in cheers. Finally, some students whispered. She's leaving. Others